All right, back in here on GCR's Continue Along on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Drew Forrester is in studio with us this morning, and we were just talking about this story, and I don't fully understand it because it's not my world. Obviously, it is Drew's world, and it is our next guest world, and he's been open. Obviously, if you read his story in the Baltimore Sun, you understand that he's kind of taken ownership, but a tough day for a local guy. You're going to see on the screen in a second, very much a UPS driver from Catonsville. Nick Barrett is with us this morning here on GCR. Nick, it's Glenn and Drew. It's good to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
Absolutely. How you guys doing?
Everything's all right, Nick. We've reset and discussed the story a little bit this morning, but can you just tell me, because again, golf is not my world. You know, it's Drew's. Getting to play in this event this Monday, as they call it, the longest day in golf. What did that mean to you to reach this stage of U.S. Open qualifying?
I mean, it's massive. I mean, I've been playing my whole life, so to have a chance at doing something like this is just it's pretty big. It's not just pretty big, it's very big. So I was happy to have the opportunity.
Can you was this the first time that you had reached this day?
No, I did it
Okay.
once before back in 2023.
Okay. Were you expecting, like, would you go into the day believing that you had a chance to qualify for the U.S. Open?
I mean, I know it's a long shot, but I know that if I'm playing some of my best golf, I can give myself a good chance to go ahead and do that. But I, realistically speaking, it's definitely a long shot.
When you
For sure.
when you shot as well as you shot in the morning, did you start to feel any different about that?
Well, I was two over after the first 18 holes, and that was it definitely wasn't out of it, but it was like, okay, I'm like, I think at the time I was like 5 or 6 shots back, and I knew going into like the last 18 holes, I'd probably have to have the round of my life to get in the conversation, I guess. So that was my thoughts, I guess.
Nick, hey man, it's Drew. How are you?
Hey, Drew.
Hey man. First of all, great job the other day, playing wise. I know you're. We were all so crushed for you because you played so well, right? Like that. That's the funny thing. I was saying this to Chris Beloga the other day during my show. When I got in and played out there at Woodmont the one year, I birdied the first hole. I think you did too the other day, right?
I did, yeah.
I buried the first hole, and I parred the second hole, and I hit it right down the middle at the third hole. And I remember thinking to myself, I wonder where I'm going to stay out at Southern Hills when I go play in the U.S. Open. And then after that, that was about the last good thought I had all day. Did you I was following along. You were playing great at the start. You were under par. Did you have one of those moments, did you get to the 10th tee and think, hey, man, how am I going to get to Pittsburgh? Am I driving or am I flying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was like, well, if I can continue this good play, I give myself a shot at it at least. So, I mean, Pittsburgh's not too far away from just outside of Baltimore, so it definitely would have been a nice ride up there.
And how good is it to, like, obviously you play at a very high level. You're an outstanding player, but how good is it to play up a level? Like this was clearly up a level, right? For you and for any of us who have ever gotten to that far. How redeeming is it for you knowing, hey, man, I was out there. I mean, look at the list of players you beat over the course of the day. You beat some guys that make a living playing golf. How redeeming and rewarding was that?
It's extremely validating for sure. I mean, I've been at this for a long time. Like I said, I've been playing for years and years now. But to have that chance and just it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Nick?
I got to imagine, by the way, when you reached into your pocket and you felt the card, it was like seeing the cop step out from behind the bush and point you over. You're like, oh no.
Yeah. And as soon as I came to that realization, I had this feeling in my gut, like, yeah, it's probably not going to go well for me. So it's
yeah, Nick, let's talk about it, right? And like Nick Barrett is with us. So, admittedly, because this isn't my world, there's a part of me that's like, really, they couldn't have just called you and said, hey, man, you forgot to turn your scorecard in. We need it. But as Drew explains to me, like in the world of golf, you know better. Like this is the way that it
absolutely.
works. So
No, 100%.
So
Yeah.
how does it explain to everybody how this happens? You finish your round. What goes on? When do you realize? And is there any part of you that's like attempting to plead your case, or do you just know immediately? Nope, this is on me. I screwed up. My day is over.
So I walked off the 18th green, and I had a lot of friends and family out there, and I just made birdie on 18. So like, there's a million things going on in the back of my head. Like, all right, we're gonna jump start this day. We're gonna get back into, I guess, maybe contention. Hopefully, I walk off the green. I'm greeted with some friends and family, and I'm not thinking about my scorecard at all. And it's a 36-hole day, and I'm not saying that I didn't realized that I was supposed to turn my scorecard in, because I definitely knew that going into it. The starter at the beginning of the round said you have to verify scores at the end of the first 18 holes, and it just completely slipped my mind. I just walked down after the 18th green, and I went into the lunch buffet, and I sat down for 15 minutes. And when I stood up, like you already read, that I felt that scorecard in my back pocket, and I didn't know if I had enough time to go turn it in, but I definitely had a feeling in the back of my mind, like, yeah, I probably just made the worst mistake possible. So,
well, here's the silver lining. Imagine how you would have felt had you shot 68 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That would have made it feel all the worse. But
well,
yeah.
Whatever you do, man, don't let this define you as a golfer. Crazy stuff happens. You played great. You got a lot of great golf ahead of you. Don't let the guys at Turf Valley give you too much grief about it.
I'm sure they will, but it's most likely warranted.
Nick, can I ask? Nick Barrett is with us. After this happens, right? After you go through it, it's weird. It's interesting that like you do want to talk about it, right? Like you have been willing, because I feel like a lot of people would like just want to go crawl in a hole somewhere, and not I can't believe this was a moment where I had a chance and I failed and I screwed up. Why is it that you've wanted to be willing to talk about it, and what maybe do you want other people to see from your experience?
I mean, I'm for myself, I'm going to definitely use this as a learning experience. So the reason, I guess, why I'm coming out and just talking more about it openly is just to avoid, like, and maybe not in this situation particularly with like the scorecard and stuff, but like, it is the player's responsibility, and it's really easy to get caught up in the mix, and just to pay attention to what you're doing. I know you're playing golf for a chance at playing in a U.S. Open or playing in anything like of importance. It's just, if anybody could learn anything from this, it's just to try to stay focused and remember what you have to do. And that's what you sign up for. You have to pay attention and do what you're supposed to do as a player.
It sounds almost like a Bill Belichick thing. Like you need to sweat or the old Bill Belichick. Like it sounds like that guy. You need to sweat the details a little bit, right? Like,
what do you mean?
I mean, like you can't forget any part of it.
Absolutely.
I was saying this to Drew. Again, I'm an outsider. I'm not a golfer, so there's the part of me that's like, the hell, like this would never happen in any other sport, right? Like,
no, well, yeah, but
and
it's just like,
go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, it's like, what's the first thing a golfer does, like on TV? Like you see a golfer finish the round of golf, and the first thing that you see them do, like they walk up the cart path or whatever, and they go right into scoring, and that's like the first thing. And there's no excuse for it. So I got caught up in the moment, and unfortunately it cost me. But
I feel like for the rest of your life, you're gonna have to be able to. You have to say like, I would have gone to the U.S. Open. Like I definitely, right.
You might someday. It took me till I was 58, Nick, to get to one. You got plenty of time, my man.
That's right.
You're gonna get there. Trust me.
Did you immediately go out and play golf the next day? Did you immediately find yourself saying like, I need to wash this taste out of my mouth. I need to have a good round. I need to go, post a low number. And what's the week been like?
I don't know. Well, I went back to work yesterday for sure. Went back to work, and well, as I was on my way home after Woodmont on Monday, it's like a hour drive back with traffic and stuff. So I'm just sitting there collecting my thoughts on everything that happened, and I'm just like, what else am I gonna do about it? Like, there's nothing I can
Yeah,
do at
it's
this
over.
point. So you might as well just put your best foot forward and just be open and honest about it. So
Have you heard from any other golfers, anybody else in the golf community about it?
um, not particularly. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay. I don't know if there was. I gotta imagine there's somebody else who has a story like this. I gotta
Oh, are you
imagine
kidding me?
this isn't
Yeah,
the
there
first
has to be.
time
Right.
that something
Yeah,
like
there's
this
no
has
way.
occurred.
I mean, I hope not any.
I'm not
just,
suggesting that like Tiger Woods or something. I gotta imagine that that's happened at some point before.
yeah,
Nick, I really appreciate the fact that it's something that you want to talk about and you want to. I think it's easy, and I really appreciate your disposition. That you can't change it now. This is the reality of it, and Drew's point. It's on to 2026, right? Like, and
that's right. Yeah, it's on to the next tournament, whenever that will be. I'm not quite sure when that will be, but I'm not going to stop. That's for sure. I'm going to continue to keep playing. So,
I appreciate that.
mhm.
Nick, thank you for taking the time for us this morning, man. And we will root for you. And may this be a serious, as Rufus said, blip on the radar that we laugh about at some point when you're drinking champagne out of a championship trophy.
Sounds good.
That we all do that. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning, man. And best of luck to you moving forward.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on.
See you, Nick.